Hi guys, waiting for everybody to join the live video on color correction and how to use colors, Tina Davies colors. And so I'll repeat again. This video will be about the color correction. We will look at the colors, how to mix them, how to use them. Then I will also talk about the Tina Davies colors. We will also look at them, and then we will see some of my color correctors and some other brands. And we will also look at the questions that I received from you before about how to color correct pink colors, purples, blue, and how many passes and etc. So this will be all in this video, so I'm excited. And at the end I will give you, of course, the discount code for NanoFlow needles. And thank you guys for joining, because for me it's morning, so I had an effort to wake up. It's not quite early, but I wake up quite early. You can see my eyes are still red. Okay, so let's start with color theory, and let's start with mixing the colors. So let me switch. Okay guys, so I just want to show you, and as I understood, a lot of you do not really know about this, and I will also show this with mixing the colors. So I just want to let you know that any color that we see in our world can be obtained, can be get with only the three base colors, which is yellow, blue, and red. So yellow can't get yellow, you can't mix any other colors to get the yellow, and you can't mix any other colors to get the red, and the same for blue. You can't mix any other colors to get the blue. But all other colors like pink, purple, and green, or any other colors, any other tones, you can mix. You can mix these three base colors. So guys, put the plus if you are hearing me, if you are following this. I'll just be waiting for your plus, so I know if I should continue. Okay, and now, so if this is the three base colors, it means that all our pigments over here are also just made from these three base colors. Actually, if you combine these three base colors in equal amount, one drop of powder of this, one drop of powder of this and this, you will have very neutral brown, which is not reddish, which is not cold, it's just neutral. So if I take this, for instance, Tina Davies colors, right? We have some of them are orange base, right? Some of them are orange base, some of them are yellow base. So what does it mean? If they are orange base, it means that this powder, yellow and red, is more present more in the pigment. If they are cooler, or if they are more yellow base, of course the yellow powder is more. And also you can see that yellow plus red, if we mix these colors, yellow plus red, we will get orange. If we mix yellow and blue, we will get green. And the same goes for blue and red, we will get purple. So I'm going to mix right now for you guys to see. I'm going to mix these colors so you know, just so you study this better, and then you easily can color correct any color, even pink, purple, and you know the difference. So okay, just to repeat again, blue, red, and yellow, these are the base colors that can't be mixed. Sorry guys, that can't be mixed. And any other colors can be get by mixing these three base colors. But fortunately, if we mix these three colors between in equal amount, we will get the brown. So that's what we need. We need the brown color, neutral brown color. So let's do this. Let me show you. Okay, so I'm going to take blue, let's say equal amount of blue, equal amount of yellow, and red. And I'm going to mix these. So now you can see there is brown showing off, and depends which of the pigment I had more, which of the color I had more. So seems I had more reddish color. It means that now my brown become more like for brunettes, more brown, more reddish undertone, right? So this I would say the brown color with reddish undertone. And let me get the, hold on. I'll try to reduce so you guys can see better. Do you see? This is the reddish. But now, if this is the reddish brown, it means that the reddish is more in this mixture. Then I would just have to add more yellow and blue to get more neutral brown. But yellow and blue, it's actually green. So what you have to add, it's green. There's no pigments you can buy or no color corrector you can buy which is just blue or just yellow. You can buy green. So what we have to add is what we have to add is green. But since I'm using these, I'm just going to mix one more time yellow and blue, which is green, right? The color corrector we have green. It's on sale, you can buy it. For instance, olive color corrector or an Pigments. And if you add this to your mixture, here, for instance, you're going to have, do you see this one is more neutral? This one is reddish tone. This one is more neutral because we added this olive color. So it means if you have the red eyebrows, you definitely have to neutralize this with green. And green is the mixture of yellow and blue. Okay, so this is clear. Now let me try to mix, for instance, yellow and blue. So you guys can see yellow and blue. Yellow and blue is purple. So if you have a client who have the purple eyebrows, it means that the powder that is left in her skin from the pigment is left blue and red. Combined together is purple. But the purple has also different tones. Sometimes it's lighter pink, sometimes it's darker bluish purple. Which means if it's lighter pink, it means that the reddish is more in this mixture. If it's to this side, it's just lighter. If the blue powder is more in the mixture, it goes to the darker blue. Let me know if it's clear. So for instance, if I'm going to add more red to this mixture, we are going to have pink, lighter, brighter pink. Much lighter. This is more darker, more cooler purple, meaning here blue powder is more. Also, because I'm filming this from phone, so your colors on your phone could be a little bit different from the reality. So you have to just trust me on what I say, purple or pink, or it could look more reddish on your screen than it's here in reality. And now the question is, okay, so we got the purple. We got this, for instance, we got this purple. How do we neutralize this? How do we make brown out of this? So again, purple is blue plus red, and there is yellow missing to complete this brown neutral color. So of course, if we have a purple brows or anything purple, purple lips, we will have to add the yellow. And I will add the yellow to this purple mixture. And you can see it gets neutralized. However, usually I think this purple that I have is still in this area. It's not too bluish. It's still in this area, which means is more of the red in here. Which means if this is more, then we have to add still a little bit of blue and a little bit of yellow, which is green. So actually, not only the yellow we have to add, but we have to add a little bit of blue, or if mixed together is actually green. Yellow green, because in permanent makeup we don't have any color corrector which is blue. So even if you want to add just yellow or just blue, you can do this. You have to add yellow and green, which is, I would say, which is this color, green with yellow. This is very light green because it has a lot of yellow. So this is the perfect color. So I'll just show you if I add to this mixture, because this is right now is quite bright, it's quite still orangey. If I'm going to add green to this mixture, I would say yellow green. Let me make this yellow green come true. And in a moment I will answer your questions. I'll just finish this. You can see how, look, it's already getting so neutralized, so brown, very neutral brown. So I will just repeat one more time, and after that I'll answer your questions. But this is for the purple. If we are on this side of purple over here, it means that this red, because blue plus red is purple, right? We have more red color, red tone in this purple. So it means we still have to add yellow and blue, which is green, to neutralize it. Just remember, if it's light purple, light pink, you have to add green with a lot of yellow, okay? And if it's colder purple, you just need to add yellow. But I wouldn't I wouldn't stress out about this too much, because, well, luckily the girls with such situation is so rare, so you don't have to really worry about should I add the green yellow or just the yellow. And that's why I suggest, just on your first procedure, you can use just the color corrector and then see how it heals. So you know how that color corrector you chose and how it affects the old tattoo. And then on your touch up, you can add other colors to whatever the client wants. But about this, I will talk more in details in our second part of this video, but now it's about colors. But just so you know, because a lot of artists ask, do I do this at one procedure, or do I separate the color correction and on touch up I add another color? So that's what I mean. If you want to really study and learn how color corrector heals on your blue or reddish eyebrows, I suggest to separate. If you're already advanced artist, you have experience, you can do this at one procedure. Now let me go through the questions. And I haven't, okay, I'll just one more time, I'll mix yellow and blue so you guys can see it clearly. Let me go through the question. And thank you so much for joining, because it's, of course, I'm happy that you are curious about this and happy that you're joining this. So do I add green to brow pigment or use it itself? I'll save this question to our second part, because there are few questions similar to this that I will discuss. Explain again, please. Yes, I get it. Saying yellow. Okay, I was saying yellow, but using red. Maybe when I speak, I tend to confuse. Okay, so the question, for instance, how do I color correct gray eyebrows? So again, gray eyebrows, it's quite a lot of the blue in it. So I would say gray color is the blue, but just it goes deep into the skin that it looks like gray. So what is missing for the gray color? For the brown color to be, what is missing to get the brown color? It's yellow and red, right? Yellow plus red plus blue together is brown, neutral brown. So if we have blue, which is gray, we just need to add yellow and red, but it will be too troublesome for you to add separately yellow and red. So you just find the corrector which is already the mixture of yellow and red, which is orange. If you mix yellow and red, you will get orange. Okay. Now, can we mix different brands? I mean, use the color corrector from Davies and then the brown from a different brand if it's in 2 sessions. Well, I think, honestly, because right now a lot of pigments, they are pretty much, they are organic and they've been using for doing tattoos. So like these pigments, permablend, are pretty much using in tattoo, and you can mix the pigments, but just don't mix them in one cap, because they will have different, they could have different consistency, so they won't mix them well. But even if you're using this at one procedure, if you do one pass with one color and second pass with another color, I think it's still fine. Unless that, for instance, if you're using permablend and then you're suddenly using something not organic from, I don't know, maybe buy a touch or something, then I would not recommend to do this. You might have already mentioned this and I missed this, but what do you use for green brows? Okay, so let's see again. The green brows. Do you know, guys, what is the green? Green is the mixture of yellow and blue. Together is green. So if this is, we already have on eyebrows, we already have yellow and blue on eyebrows, which is green. The part that is missing for getting the brown is red. And I will repeat this again, because yellow plus blue plus red is neutral brown. So it gets into your head and you remember this 3-color system. So we just need to add a reddish corrector to neutralize the green. And I think there are different color correctors. For instance, this one, it's Squash from Permablend. It's actually orange, but it has a lot of like reddish undertone. So this would be nice to color correct green. And again, probably you wouldn't get like very greenish green. You would have something like lighter or in between. So you don't really have to find the red color corrector. You can find orange with a lot of redness in it, which this is nice because orange is combination of yellow and red. And if red powder is more, then this orange will have a more reddish undertone. Now, I'll just repeat. I see the question, how many ratio of color corrector and etc. This will go in a minute when I will just finish. I'll just finish because I just think you guys need to see. If you want to later to review this again, I'll just show you quickly again about the mixing colors. So let's see in this chart, yellow plus red. Just want to show you, otherwise I will not sleep a while at nights if I understood that I didn't show you how to mix yellow and red and that it gets orange. So you see it becomes orange. When we are mixing yellow and red. What will happen if we mix yellow and blue? I guess you already know this. It will get, hope you know this. It will get nice green color. So right now we got green and right now we got orange, right? So what will happen if we mix green and orange together? Green and orange together. It will be brown but with yellowish base, basically because green is yellow and blue and orange is yellow and red, so there will be just more yellow in this mixture. It will be brown but with more of the yellow, so it will be lighter brown, just like this. It's quite nice, but it's light brown. And then the last one that I want to mix is blue and red, so you can see that it's becoming purple. Yeah, very nicely. Yeah, it becomes purple. And now let's see at our chart of Tina Davies colors. Usually, how you can check which of the powder is more present in the pigment, and by the powder I mean yellow, red, or blue. You can, for instance, here she already write down, this is the yellow base. So more yellowish pigment present there. Yellow base, orange base. So orange base is yellow plus red. So these pigments are warm, orange base, and this one, yellow base, is more neutral. When there is a yellow base present, it just, the brown is more neutral, more colder. So this means, but let me again, hold on, answer your questions. I will also mention about the Tina Davies colors, and I will mention how many passes we do for color corrector. I'll just show you in a minute. Can you please post a photo of this chart you have with tones? Yes, I will. You can just, I'll think of the best way how to use it. Probably maybe I'll post on Instagram or in story this color chart. Oh, but you just can find this on Google. You can color a chart for permanent makeup. How do you color correct all grayish microblading? Do you just run a blade through old brown strokes, old grayish strokes? Sorry, how do you just run a blade through old strokes with a color correction? This is an amazing question because I had my mom, my first client was my mom, and she had extremely blue deep color. Maybe you guys saw on my Instagram I posted. She had a very blue, intense, tattooish looking microblading, very deep. Because she's my mom, so I did so many procedures on top of her eyebrows just to be able to color correct that. And no, it's impossible. With microblading, it's impossible to color correct that microblading. Microblading can't color correct anything and can't color correct microblading. I would maybe try to use machine hair stroke and go over this pattern, this old eyebrows, because just machine hair stroke, it can go inside the skin deeper and it can give the density much more to the skin, because microblading is still very shallow procedure. It's still a scratches, and you know microblading heals sometimes patchy, sometimes too light, sometimes it's gone, so it's very unstable procedure, just microblading. But machine hair stroke, it's pretty stable. It's a tattoo, which you can put the pigment really deep into the skin. And if the client has gray, old, blue eyebrows, it means the pigment sits so deep into the skin that it looks more cooler, more blue. But actually the pigment is the same. It didn't change the color. It's just because it sits under so many layers of the skin that it looks colder and bluish. So with this being said, you will go through blue or gray color with orange corrector, I don't know how to pronounce it. I would say this color for me is too reddish. This is too yellow, so this is like a yellow. So I actually like to mix these, and this is squash and this one is, you know guys, I wish PermaBlend would have some better cover because I can't remember what's the name of it, and it says it just all got scratchy, but I remember it was pumpkin probably because I bought it 3 of them together. So it was olive. No, where's my olive color? Okay, it was 3 of them together. So I believe this one was pumpkin. Anyway, this is more reddish, this is more yellowish. So mixing them together is more settled orange color. So I would take the machine and I would, if it was old microblading, I would go through those strokes with this color first, then see how it heals, and then I would try to do anything with it. But usually the laser or removal would do much better job on this. Also, if she had old bluish microblading, probably doesn't look good. So I would still suggest to do powder on top to just make it all more even out and make it look better. Where can we purchase this color chart? I suggest to just download this from Google and print it out. Do you think Tina Davies Golden Sunrise is a good color corrector for gray eyebrows? I don't have that color. But how to check this is very easy. If because you have to understand that each color on the line, it's already brown, right? With a strong, for instance, orange base. And if it's brown color, it adds a little bit of darkness to eyebrows. But sometimes the clients, they don't want their eyebrows to get, let's say, darker. That's why we use pure color corrector to stay at the same darkness level, because anything you add from brown will make the intensity more and the color appear a little bit darker. But maybe that Tina Davies Golden Sunrise is quite light orangey pigment, maybe, but I haven't tried that. I haven't even seen that pigment. Do you use first color correction before a new set of brows to prevent the fade out to become blue or orange when the color fades with time? Okay, let me try again. Do you use first color correction before a new set of brows to prevent the fade out to become blue or orange when the color fades with time? No. Why would you use color correction on, you mean on the skin that do not have any permanent makeup done before? Definitely no. Also, if you're using, I call them tattoo pigments, the permablend or anything, it's a mixture of tattoo organic pigments. These do not change their color in time. If you're using inorganic pigments, they will sometimes, the reddish could change and become very bright orange. The color could really change. So these colors are stable. Tattoo pigments are stable, but they are very dense in color. So that's the difference. Tattoo pigments are so dense in color, so sometimes it's easier to make mistakes with them. But they do not change the color. So what you see on the healed result, it probably will be the same throughout the time, but just lighter. But I want to, since you asked me this question, I want to also show you one thing, that in the past I was using Tina Davies. My pressure and my technique in powder brows is very light. So if I'm going to take pigments with orange base, which means again that in this combination of mixture of powders, yellow powder, blue powder, and red powder, if it's orange base, it means these powders are more in this mixture. So if my shading is light, then undertone will show up on the healed result. So if I took, for instance, medium brown, which is very orangey base, and I did very light, you will get pretty much red eyebrows on your healed result. So be careful. The warm pigments, I'm talking about the shading, you can only use if your technique, for, I would say, dense eyebrows, if your shading is quite intense, then it will look like a normal brown. If your shading is light, or you want to create really light eyebrows, do not take warm pigments because they will show up as red. So I will just open the medium brown. Okay, so this is a medium brown, and excuse me for my nails. I'll go to fix my nails tomorrow. Okay, this is the medium brown. If your shading is like this, if your shading is so dense in color, then it's fine. It looks like brown, right? It looks like brown. Or if you're doing microblading, because if you're doing microblading, everything falls into the cut, and density in that cut is pretty strong, just like this. But once you're getting, hold on, because the pigments are so density, so I have to like scratch so many times. But once you get lighter, do you see it gets so I would say reddish. Maybe through your camera you can see it, but on my side it's quite reddish, quite warm. So if this is your shading light, it's going to show up reddish. So in this situation, I would suggest to take pigments with yellow base because they won't appear red on heel result. And by light shading, I mean if your swing is big, like this, the dots appear, they appear quite far from each other, and also it's very on top of the skin, so it's super light, then you will have this one. But if your shading is like this, definitely you will have this nice color, nice brown color, so you don't have to worry about that. This is just something for you to remember. Guys, by tattoo pigments, I just mean that the density of the pigments is very strong. I do not mean anything else, because if you take for instance LI pigments or BeautySlesh pigments, the density of the powder there is so little. Oh my god, I just spilled out my color on the table. Then, okay, so what is the ratio of color corrector do we add to the color? Yes, that's now, let's go to these questions of the ratio and when do we use the color correctors and when do we use the brown pigments. Let me just clean this all up, and because this is so messy, I'm already in the pigment. So when do we use color corrector and when do we use the color brown? And how much do we use the color corrector? If eyebrows are too bright in orange or too strong in blue or gray color, that you feel like just to put brown is not even enough to neutralize this color. But this will come, of course, with experience. But for me, by eye, I can tell if the color is really orange on her eyebrows, like bright orange, that I feel like just me taking the brown will not cover this, then definitely you have to first use the color corrector. But then remember how many pesos about the color corrector. So I will use my iPad so I can show you the density and you can check. And by the way, this one is just I created for a quick cheat sheet. So you just know if it's orange, you have to neutralize this with green. If it's blue, you have to neutralize, if it's red, you have to neutralize with green. If it's blue, you have to neutralize with orange. The same goes in the other way. If it's orange, neutralize with colder tones. If it's green, neutralize with more reddish tones. But of course, these pigments you can't find alone, so you would have to use something more orangey with reddish undertone, or something more greenish with just colder green that would neutralize the orange, because you won't find any blue corrector in the permanent makeup. So for instance, this green color is more colder and darker, so it means that it's pretty much good for covering these orange eyebrows. So this green is more, it's yellow plus blue, but more of the blue in it, so it's colder. But if we are taking, for instance, this color corrector, do you see? It's super light. Definitely it means that blue plus yellow, the yellow is more in this one, just so you know. And now about which one do we use color corrector or not, or which one do we use brown? Now, okay, so this, you can see the gray blue eyebrows. First of all, this is definitely old tattoo, and it was so deep into the skin, it probably stays her for over 6 or 10 years, and it still stays like this. So it would be so silly silly to think that with just few passes you would get a nice brown and your life would become so positive. But it's not the case because her color is so deep. Our permanent makeup is not going that deep. So these types are really hard to cover, but it's so easy to get rid of them using the laser. And there's another type which is removal. Removal is not as strong as laser. So usually, how I know, usually they use laser till the laser can't see the color, and then what is left, they use remover to get what is left after the laser. This is the best way. But I haven't done laser, or I don't do laser procedure, or I don't do removal procedure, so I won't tell you about this much. But what I do is I do color corrections, or I just simply send this client to the person who does laser and removal. And by the way, you can do cooperation with such salons, and you can exchange clients, and that's how you can gain your clients. So for this client, if you really want to desperately take this client, then you can really do very strong shading with orange, because her eyebrows is like this right now. You do very strong with orange on top, and very could be several passes. You just see, you do several passes and you see, does it turn into brown? If not, keep going. So you maybe could take 3, 4, 5 passes. Once it becomes brown, I suggest to add on top 2 passes more, because after the healing it will drop. So you just want to make sure it stays brown after the healing. Because this client that I want to show you over here, okay, I'll show you on computer because it's too small. But she had same blue eyebrows. Anyway, I'll show you on the screen later, it's bigger. And I just did too light for her with orange corrector, so it healed still bluish. It just not enough. So later on touch up, I added more orange and it was fine. Do we add brown in this case? Definitely no, because the darkness of this brows is already dark. You definitely don't need to add brown, because it will just, first of all, the brown will not cover this. The second, it makes no use. It will make the eyebrows even more darker. But unless she wants to have black eyebrows, then welcome. The only condition is that she likes this shape. If she would want to add another brow, change the shape, the tail she want to go up, I would not take this client because this color is so dense. I would just send her for removal. These eyebrows, definitely you can't change them, you can't color correct them because they are so dark, the color is so dense, and there's no orange corrector can help you. Now let's look at this color. This color is pretty subtle. It actually has the blue down here and has the orange down here, and it's pretty light and it's pretty mild color. It's not bright orange. It's not like this. It's not vivid color. It's not like this. So you don't have to really worry about this one. You can just take your brown color because probably it's too light. She want to match her hair color. So you can add the brown on top, but the brown, I would add 2 different browns here. Where she has orange, I would add brown with olive undertone. Because, right, if she has this orange, I need to make it cooler. But we don't have the blue color. We have the greenish with more of the blue color, so it's colder green. So I would use the greenish ash brown. I usually use ash brown from Davies in this case. Let me find it. Where's my ash brown? I would use this ash brown. Now down part, she has bluish eyebrows over here. Just a little bit, but it's still light. Then I would just take medium brown and I would shade it over there. Remember, you can't shade over the shape. You can't go over the shape. You only color correct what she has there. If you step out her old tattoo, you definitely will have, you know what you will have. Will have a weird color. So you only color correct her old existing tattoo. But let's say, okay, so she has here 2 different color, but let's say she want to have the shape, I don't know, like super straight. Let's say super straight and some tail. First of all, the tail area, this area has to be darker than the front. So if she overall want to have like maybe something like medium brown, if she want to have, for instance, dark brown, at the tail, I would still add a little bit of bold brown just to have the tail a little bit darker. So I would use dark brown with bold brown for the darkness of the tail, because we want to have the transition. So this is for this area. And because my shading at the tail is pretty dense, and I can pretty much take this bold brown. I don't have to worry that is orange base or anything. This is orange base. I don't have to worry because my intensity there is quite dark. But at the front, I like to take more cooler tones because my shading there is light. I don't want to have any orangey looking eyebrows. So I tend to take the yellow base pigments at the front. But the situation she has here, she has red pigment here and she has blue pigment here. So at the red area, I would take ash brown to neutralize this. At the blue area, I would take orange brown. Orange brown is medium brown. Greenish brown is ash brown or gray, but gray is too much. Ash brown is nice. And the reason why, again, why I don't take just color correctors, like for instance these, is because her own color is too light and not bright enough. Because if I just put these colors on her light color, it will heal like these colors. Why do I need the healed result to be green or orange? I don't need this. It's just not enough strong to be compensated with these. I hope you guys understood this, okay? But for instance, this one, and I know on your screen you can't see it, but this color, just unfortunately on iPhone, can't really see how orange is this. It's quite orange. If I put just ash brown, the ash brown do not have this coldness to neutralize this orange, because we need to have quite cold color to neutralize the orange. So I do use, in this case, the green first. Maybe I do, because it's not that intense as here, so I still do maybe 2 passes and I see, does this color turn into brown? If it's turned into brown, then I'll just add 2 passes plus 2 passes more to make sure it stays. So that's the only formula. But then let's say she wants to have black eyebrows. So I use this one first to neutralize, to make it brown. I add 2 plus 2 passes more to make sure that it will not drop intensity of this color. And then on top, I can add any other color. Let's say bold brown with a drop of ebony. The reason why I like to use bold brown with drop of ebony, because still my shading is not dense in color. Unfortunately, I just like to use light shading and then add more intensity on touch up. So still the bold brown has orange base. So why did I color correct here so many times and then I use bold brown again? I just make it back to orange. No. So in this case, I will add drop of ebony which is very cool color. Since it's yellow base, it's very cool color. And this will make this mixture dark brown without orange base. Maybe at the end of this lecture, I will mix this and you can see what undertones it gets and what the these Tina Davies pigments undertones look like. So when Tina Davies is saying the pigments have warm undertones, the only thing she means is that there is more yellow and red powder present. This is what it means by pre-modified, by having the pigment more warmer. It's just this two are more present in the mixture, which means more orange. Yellow plus red is orange. Let's see what other, what else do we have? Okay, the same thing here. She has quite orange eyebrows, very orange. So again, we have to neutralize this with green. But the question will be, do we neutralize with this color or with this color? Because these are two different green colors. For me, this one is too bright and there's not much green present in this. I'm just trying to, let me try to show you. So this is super orange eyebrows, which you can't see by screen, but you have to trust me. This is very, very bright orange. It means that in this mixture, the red present is more. So to neutralize this, I would say almost like a reddish, I would have to take dark green, okay? If we would have the orange, which is super light, like this, more yellow. We don't need this. This is too dark. So when the reddish is more, when it's here, the opposite is this green. So I just like to use more darker green color than this one. So again, few passes of the green color, only at the areas of where you need to color correct. Do not go out of the old tattoo. Then you see if it's got brown, then you add +2 passes, +2 light passes, don't need to overdo. And then you can add, for instance, she wants to have black eyebrows, you can add bold brown with ebony. The same goes with everything else. And I just want to also show you the reason why microblading can't cover old tattoo. This is microblading on top of orange. It's still orange. It really is orange. Microblading will never cover, forget about microblading covering your old tattoo. If the client already have the situation, is either removal or just going over with the shading on everything. And the last, let me turn my computer on. The last one over here, this blue is quite light. It means that your color corrector, like this one, do not have to be very intense. Because for instance, this area of front, it has just very light blue. But this area have more density of blue. This area has more lighter density of blue. So it means that in your shading, you will put more passes on this area, on more dense area with, let's say, orange corrector, right? But in this area, you would put very little bit of orange, or even take just the medium brown in this area if it's too light, if the color is too light. Because remember, we have to compensate. If the color is dense or it's deep, we have to put a lot of color corrector in it. But if the color is light, and it's already not that deep into the skin, it's very, very light, then you can just simply use your brown color even. You don't have to color correct, because if it's too light and you use color corrector, it will heal like orange. But in this case, so this is how it looked right after the procedure, like this. So when she came back to me, this was my old work, and from this I learned a lot. When she came back to me, I could clearly see the redness parts in her brows after the healing. And that happened because I put the orange, like this color corrector, it's orange with a lot of red pigments powder in it. I put this at the areas where the pigment was light, so it really showed up a little bit orangey. So that was my mistake. So be careful about the color corrector, or do not use color correctors which are very dense in red powder, red undertone. So this one is quite reddish, this one is yellow. So again, I like to use the mixture, or if you just purchase the NE pigments, this one is 403. It's very settled, it's like brown, but it's not brown, it's corrector, but it's very settled color, so even if you put this on the skin, it won't look bright orange, so you won't make these mistakes. So be careful about this. So after that, I just use this color. I don't use the permablend anymore because it's just a bit too bright for me. But sometimes these are good for lips, mixing them together, or using this is good for lips to brighten up the dark lips. Okay, so I like to use this one for brows. Okay, let me see your questions, and I want to still show you undertones of the colors of the Tina Davies pigments and of okay, what I want to do is I still want to show you the mapping for if we have one side of the brow like this, another side of the brow like that, what do we do about the mapping, and how do we color correct these, and etc. And the second thing, I want to show you undertones of each color corrector and how you can even yourself see what undertone that your color have, because only the Tina Davies has this color chart where she basically is telling you which one is yellow base, which one is orange base. So it's very handy to know, because then if the client's eyebrows are too grayish or too bluish, you would take the orange base pigments. If your client's alt tattoo is more reddish, you would take yellow undertone pigments. But then again, the question is that does the client need color correction or not? Why did it turn orange? You mean the old eyebrows turn orange over the time, or why did it turn orange in the case I was showing? Let me know. Can you show how to know the skin undertones of people cool or warm skin? I don't know. I would just be like, unfortunately, in my experience, and I already told this so many times, once you think by all the points this skin is cool or this skin is warm, it still heals unpredictable, because it's impossible to really categorize the people's skin. It's will depends on so many factors, on her skin thickness, on whether the skin is oily or not. So I do not bother myself even thinking if the skin is cool or warm. However, I just know, and you guys also notice this, if the client's skin is dark skin client, if you put just, let's say, cool brown, or not just regular brown color. It will heal cooler than if you use this brown color on, let's say, me. And do you guys know why this happens? Put plus as you know and minus if you don't know why this happens. This really great. Hold on. I'll just bring up the picture for you to see. So I'll be right here. Do you guys see me or hear me? Because I can't see myself. So got frozen, right? It's so sad. But do you guys hear me? Could you let me know in comments if you hear me? Could you comment you hear me? Okay, so you hear me, but do you see me? Okay, I can see myself. Okay, great. Okay, thanks God. I like this chart from NE Pigments. And again, because of course we're using iPad and you're guys seeing this through screen, but I can post this on story later. This inside is the same color, but it looks different because one has been placed on the yellow background, another one has been placed on the blue background. So if the client has darker skin, it's warmer skin. So if I use this blue brown on darker skin, it looks grayish, but it's the same color. It didn't change. The color is the same, but it just looks colder. It looks grayish. Do you guys see it? And do you guys see that the circle colors are different in color? Do you guys see it? But in reality, these circles are the same color, right? But if you put this brown color on colder skin, on whiter skin, let's say me, this will look warmer. So that's the difference, which is really fascinating difference. That's why for darker skin or for warmer skin, for orangey skin, you would have to put more brown, more orange-based brown. So for darker skin clients, you have to pick the pigment with a lot of orange. I would even add corrector in the pigment because the regular pigments brown are not enough. Especially the dark skin clients, they want to have dark eyebrows but still do not look gray eyebrows. So for dark brown, I would just add like almost reddish corrector inside so that it looks not that gray. Impressive, right? It's so super cool. But on me, this brown will look very red. So for myself, and I'm the person who like light powder eyebrows. So definitely nobody would pick for me medium brown, because if I just want to have light powder, like very natural eyebrow look, oops, sorry, let me turn this on off. I would use ash brown because it's yellow base. I would use blonde from Davies because it's yellow base, but I wouldn't use for myself medium brown. Also because I noticed for my hair color, the reddish brown do not fit me. The color, the pencil I use for myself, it's more olive tones. Olive tones means yellow base. Olive tones is combination of green and yellow, where yellow, sorry, what I was saying. Olive tones is correct. It's just lighter olive tone where yellow is more. So ash brown would be perfect for me. But let's say the client who always have a little bit of worms in her hair, more to warm brown, do not have olive tones like me. This is olive. And she's good to go with medium brown or bold brown, dark brown, because all of these three pigments in Tina Davies chart, they are all orange base. So even after the time when the pigment will go away, it will have a little bit of this reddish residue, which is not red, but it's just still warm. She will be fine. It will suit to her hair color, to her makeup look, or just to her skin. For me, I don't want to have reddish residue. I'd rather have something more olivish, yellowish residue after 1 year. So ash brown is even really suits to my current eyebrow hair color, hair color. But let's say medium brown, not my style. But some clients might like brown. So I do not judge by skin tone. I do this. It's like picking a pencil for your client. Makeup pencil. With which makeup pencil will you draw her eyebrows? And also you have to ask the client what color she wants and what will she expect in after 1 year, to more olivish side, to more cooler, or still a little bit of warmth in her eyebrows. Yeah, that's about this. Okay. What happens if a client with blonde hair, light skin, but with dark brows hair? What color should I use? Usually, if her hair color is dark, usually she would dye her hair in blonde, but her hair color is almost like black. I would say it's cold. Why would you use near the black hairs? Why would you use anything like reddish or brownish? It will look weird. I would use more cooler colors. But again, depends on the client. Sometimes the clients insist to have warm brown color for her eyebrows. What a great explanation you gave to us. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm so happy. I was very worried about this tutorial webinar. I almost didn't sleep yesterday. I was just trying to think, and there's so much more things I still have to show you guys today. And my throat is already hurting, but I just want to give as much information so you guys understand what it is, because I noticed a lot of courses somehow do not include this theory into the course. So just want to let you know. What happens if, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so what colors corrector do you recommend? As I mentioned before, I will repeat this one more time. I recommend the Permablend or NE pigments. For NE, currently I use NE pigments. One is 401 and 403. But the website, it has the Russian version of the website and it has the English version. You just have to click on English version and buy this. For Permablend, it's easier to purchase Permablend. However, the green is light green and the orange is has too much redness in it. So maybe if you want to cover like blue eyebrows, which are not too dark, if you just use this color as I mentioned before, it might heal a bit reddish in some spots. So to make it not so red, you can add a little bit of yellow. Or use just this one. It's like very subtle color. And I bought this Permablend, I bought these three colors together. One is olive, another one is squash, and another one I have no idea because it just got disappeared. That's why I have no idea why do they use these stickers, which disappears. And the second thing that I don't like about this is the bottle. I think there's so many other bottles that are more useful because these are split out everywhere. But that's my little complaint, and let me go through another question. if the client has cool color veins, but the skin looks neutrally warm, I think if the client has cool color veins, her skin is cool. Actually, because the skin is so thin, okay, now I know how to explain. In this case, it will vary about the thickness of her skin, which is another thing that is so confusing. If the skin is thick, the pigment go under the skin, so many layers of skin, it will look cooler because so many layers of skin will cover the pigment. If you will wait for me, I will demonstrate this to you. But if the skin thickness is thin, the pigment is very on top, you will see this color very bright. So it might heal, if you use orange pigment, it might heal still orangey. But if the skin is thicker, it might heal cooler. In this being said, I would never think too much about the skin if it's cool tone or the skin is warm tone. I would just remember one thing, the first thing. If it's dark skin client, definitely add a yellow corrector for the brows, for the powder or microblading. Other than that case, it's more of a try and error, and I would just suggest just to pick any color the client wants, but remember that each pigment has either yellow base or orange base, reddish base, and only based on that think whether the orange base, more warm brown, will fit her, or whether the olive tone will fit her more. Just think of these two, which one will fit her more. And then on her touch up, if the pigment healed very warm, this just will means that you have to take the cooler tone pigment. But if the pigment healed too cool, then you would have to take the warmer pigment. So it's try and error. I wouldn't think too much about this. That's all. But in my experience, the only cases that happen to me a lot, and maybe that's because I'm working with Asian skin. Asian skin is thicker, but again, Asian guys, do you think Asian skin? Could you send me in here? Do you think Asian skin is warm, considered to be warm, or considered to be cool? So I'm waiting your reply here. Do you think the Asian skin type is cool or warm? Cool, warm, cool. Warm, warm, warm. And again, and I will tell you, when I put medium brown on them and I use my light shading, on some Asian skin, it heals super red, like extremely red, very red. And on some Asian skin, which looks identical, it heals cool. So please tell me or kill me to try to explain you about the Asian skin type is cool or warm, or skin tone, or have the vein or do not have the vein. It drives me crazy. And I'm not even trying to explain this to you, I'm not trying to explain to you. Because in every case, what I am thinking should be, do not follow the how it should be. So in one case, medium brown healed cool, in another healed very reddish. So that's why I try, just again, if the client, I feel like her hair color, she dyes into warm hair color brown, I can pretty much use medium brown. I don't have to mix it with ash brown. But if I see she doesn't like, or I ask her, do you like warm brown or do you like cooler brown? And she said, no, I don't like warm brown. I want to have it ashy, or I want to have it cool. Or I see that her hair color is pretty like black. She do not dye her hair color in any brown. Because Asians, they all have black hair. You can't say, oh, it's because her natural hair color is brown. No, they all have pretty much black hair, black eyes, same thickness of skin, and everything the same, but from client to client, it's very, very in healed results. So when I'm just like, I'm not going to explain about cool skin tone, warm skin tone. No, it's just not how it works. And even I was like, okay, so let's see if her skin is cool, then it should be, the color should be like more warmer. But if her skin color is warm, then the color should heal so cool. But how does it not work in my case? Why medium brown heals so differently? So yes, ask their preference, and on touch up, if you feel the color turn a little bit reddish than you expected, just use the cooler brown. That's why we have touch up, and there's nothing wrong, because the first procedure is like a test procedure. And I always say to my clients, if you feel like the color will heal too warm or too cool, we just add another color, because we need to test your skin first. And that's for this reason, on my first procedure, I don't do any dark I don't do very intense brows. I just do very natural brows, light. Is the Tina Davies olive color corrector good for Asian person brows that have turned red? Does the Tina Davies have the olive color corrector, or you mean the permablend color corrector? Because as I explained, it will depends on the. I use this one on Asian. I will just tell you. This is NE Pigments 401. This one is too light. If you rewatch this tutorial from the beginning, or maybe I'll show you. I'll just show you one more time. If her eyebrows is closer to red, so it's more red, it's over here, then I would use the darker green. Do you see it? So I usually they come in this range to me. So it means the opposite is cold. The opposite of this is cold. So I like to use the colder green in this area, colder green, because this green is too light, it's too bright. It's more suitable for more reddish, purplish, pinkish colors. This is more pink. You guys, in this chart, you see I just see on my screen looks like red, but this one is pink. It's pink on the paper. You can see it. In the pink situation, would you choose the lighter yellowish green? In more orangey to yellow, we have to choose the opposite. It's more colder green. The color chart will be in Google. Okay. Whew. Before we close this tutorial, and before I will show you how to map the brows and how to color correct some purple eyebrows, I want to remind you about the NanoFlow till you guys still here. NanoFlow needles will be 50% off. So this is a huge opportunity to stock up with needles on June 4 and June 6. Only these 2 days. I don't know why I decided, but let's do it. And the reason why I do 2 days is because a lot of people will miss the first day, so they still have the chance for the second day. The discount code is 50 off. 50 off as I'll just before sorry. $50, but it's reversed. You have to reverse. It's the 50 number and off together. So this is the discount code. And remember, it's June 4 and June 6. Now, let me show you quickly how about the mapping and about the brows, and then I think pretty much we are good to go. This is, the last thing I want to show you about this case, because it's a really great case to show you. Let's say one of the side have blue and red eyebrows. And intensity over here is darker than here. Already, as you know, in this area we would put shading more, but for this area we would put very light shading, and we would not go with a corrector over these, not on the skin, not on the normal skin. And then for the red, we will use different color corrector, which is, for the red, we use the green. So for this one, we use the green color corrector. Here, I would put more passes till it get brown. Here, I put few passes till it get brown. And yeah, that's how it works. But then, if her shape, for instance, just the last one. The question is, do I map before or after? You guys been asking me about this. You can map, you definitely map before you do procedure. So you all, so big outline. Let's say, sorry, the shape is weird, but anyway, this sausage is the brow. This is the arch. You definitely map, and I suggest to map just doing the outline, because you need to see what is inside. And then when you do your eyebrow, you first, of course, you cover this. And I might even try to use the orange. You just cover this first. Anyway, I won't cover this with orange, and the lower part you cover this with green. Keep in mind this is iPad, that's why the color correction do not work that precisely. Sorry. It's supposed to become brown, but seems it doesn't become brown yet. So what I did, I'm just covering blue with orangey. And I covered what was it? I already forgot what was the color. I covered red, I think this was red with olive greenish color. Now it become brown. After this, you are going to add the tail, let's say, after this done, after you see this result on this particular procedure, you already got this. Then you add the tail. I like to add at the tail just darker pigment, just a little bit darker. And at the bottom, I like to add the darker pigment till up to here. And then you also have to see how intense this color is, right? If this spot is very dark, but here is like, you have to definitely have to match the intensity. And then in this spot, and especially at the front, you definitely have to add just something light. and neutral, just light. So that's it. So that's a perfect eyebrow, but anyway, you got my point. But in case if she wants to have, her shape is, she wants to have, let's say, this shape, definitely you have to send her to laser, because the shape she wants to have is not, it's away from the things she had before. So definitely do this for laser. But usually the clients with the old tattoo, they either want to remain the shape the same as they had, or they want to make it thicker and darker. If they want to make it darker, it's it's very simple. If they want to make it dark, you can just use the dark pigment to put it on top. But remember, if your shading is light, this colors will show up, unless you like really do this so intense. However, they will still show up a little bit, because chances are these pigments are placed too deep and your shading is still not deep and not that intense. So in this case, I still suggest to put a little bit color corrector on these to cover, and then use the black or dark brown that she wants. But in which case we do not put the dark, in which case we just use the color corrector and we don't use any brown. For instance, if she already have the shape, this is the shape, perfect shape, very beautiful eyebrow shape, so beautiful. And let's say her eyebrows are gray. I'm trying to find the gray. And it's like all gray, but she really likes the shape. What I was trying to say, oh my god, I forgot what I was trying to say. Sorry, it's too intense. Okay, I was trying to say, if her gray color is light, I'm not sure why it's doing like this. Okay, if her gray color is light, even lighter than this, very light, and she doesn't want to become, her eyebrows become any dark, then you don't need to really use the brown color. You can just color correct this. If you color correct this with orange accurately, it will stay at the same darkness. It won't get darker. But if you color correct and add brown on top, of course the eyebrows will get darker. About saving this video, I will try to save, how long do we talk, 2 hours, and I'll try to share this on YouTube. Yeah, there's definitely so much information here, and I even didn't get chance to I didn't get chance to show you undertones of these colors. I think this should be another live video about me just showing each color undertone. So you can see, guys, what powder, of these 3 powder, yellow, blue, and red, is present more in undertone of your pigment, because not every color brand would have a chart like Tina Davies to let you know about this. Usually they do not provide this chart and saying which one is orange base, which one is yellow base. Usually they don't, so you like kind of have to figure out this on your own. So how to figure this out, I'll show you in the next live video. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me, and I love you guys so much. I'm so happy that you stayed till the end of this long 2-hour tutorial, 1.5 hour tutorial. Yeah, I will save this and share this on YouTube, and we will probably have part 2. Okay, 10 more minutes if you guys still want to me, because I'm just trying to answer all the questions. 5 more minutes. I'll just go over quickly the questions. Let's say what is the quickly go over your questions, and then I will tell you big goodbye, and maybe we'll have part 2. Okay, quickly. What is the ratio of color correction to pigment? How many drops of each? You definitely just do this separately. You don't mix color corrector with pigment. Well, you can do this too. But I suggest just to carefully first put the color corrector first, just to see how it changes, her old tattoo changes the color, and then put the normal pigment. How many drops of orange if I want to do it all in one? Yeah, I'm reading the old question, so probably I'm not sure what I was talking about this. Brows sells the base color red, blue, and yellow by themselves to mix and make your own colors. Can we use those as color correctors? Yes, definitely. That's you can use anything, which are the pigments. You can use those for sure. Do you prefer squash or pumpkin? So as I know, this is squash and maybe this is pumpkin or yellow. I can't remember. Anyway, I prefer to mix those. You can use brows for microblading, but Tina Davies, she prefers for machine hair stroke. Because also, why do I prefer Tina Davies for machine hair stroke? Because again, when machine hair stroke, everything, all the density of the color is placed together into one stroke. That's why it looks, even if I use very orangey brown, mixed together as I showed before, it will look brown because the density is all there. Just like here. Put all together will be this color. If I put too light, will be this color. So for machine hair stroke, you have to even take more warmer pigments because this will heal too cool. And microblading, I like to use brows because it's just easier to do microblading. Okay. Thank you again for watching, and promotion code. Okay, promotion code just one more time is 50 off. 50 as number and off as off. 50 combined together. And let me finish this with I'll just type it in here. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, this is, I did it, I reversed it. Thank you for joining this live video, and hopefully we'll have part 2. See you on June 4 and June 6 for the microblades discount. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Goodbye. Let me